To the Oracle office hours. It's great to be here with you again. It's wonderful to have this rhythm and connection in my life. Great to see you. Welcome, Erin, Denise, Pat. Great to see you. Hi. M. Casto. I wonder if you want to tell us where you're from, everyone, and if you want to say your whole name, then I can call you. Welcome, Randy. I can call you by your names. Lynn and Leaf. Agnes, Jean, great to see you again. Dia Therese, so sweet. And then we have Zunera and Mary, Andrea, and Fireflies. I love your name. I think it's Wendy. And many coming in. So if you pop where you're coming from into the chat, it's fun to see. Joyce, Roban, Rodney, Shalu. Some of you have magical names like Goddess. John, welcome. Great to see you. Craig is coming in. So Joyce is coming from Seattle, Andrea from New York, Jean from Toronto, Canada, Mary from near me in California, the Miwok land. I learned that in the Vale, I thought it was Valley, it was just missing a Y where I live, but it's a Vale. The Omi Omi tribe lived here, a flourishing community in right where I live. Wow, Tejas is coming in from India, all the way from India. Welcome. This is so lovely. One of the reasons why I enjoy so much feeling us all around the planet is because when we join together in this wonderful way, in this open-hearted way, and we raise our frequency and we come together from this intention to do good work for ourselves and the collective, we're really doing an incredible job. As we do this for ourselves, we're doing it for the one heart and for the planet. So thank you for coming and being a part of this. Agnes is back from Malta. Andrea, great to see you, sister, from New York. So sweet. Yay. Dia is in Boise, Idaho, the Valley of Peace. Oh, that sounds beautiful. So as our friends keep coming in, you might just start to tune into this frequency. Every week we are journeying with a different face that's correlated with the moon face, a different face of the divine feminine. And you might feel something very kind of magical and playful already about this feeling of my background and what inspired me to wear this get up today. We're going to be communing with the magical divine feminine archetype of the muse. And we'll get a little deeper into what she's all about, at least from my lens, and then you can feel her for yourself very soon. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about the phase that we're in, as I have been tracking the moon phases and coordinating these calls to really bring us back into that connection with the moon that in our busy modern lives we've lost so much. We've lost that hallowing the moon, sensing the moon, following the moon. Our ancient ancestors worked very closely with the cycles of the moon for planting, for celebrations, for knowing when it was time to rest and when it was time to work really diligently and focusedly. And today, we are experiencing a moon cycle. I'm going to show you. I love this nifty technology. This is the waxing gibbous moon. And you can see that it's almost full. And you'll remember from last week's Oracle office hours, if you were here, that we wax on and wane off. So this waxing gibbous is becoming ripe. There's so much light, so much of its body showing in the night sky and the day sky. And we have a different energy, a different vibration that we can tune into, that this moon is inviting us into. So you'll remember, and I'll show the greater moon cycle here. We are in this, where are we? The waxing. Here we are down low. The waxing gibbous is coming right before our full moon. And last week we were working with the waxing crescent. And that was right after the new moon, or the dark of the moon. So when we tune into the difference between the waxing crescent and the waxing gibbous, you remember last week the waxing crescent was saying it's time for those first steps. When you've planted your seeds of intention at the new moon, and that dreaming into being, that visioning, and the planting of the seeds internally, the waxing crescent was taking those very first steps of action. And now we've had some time to nurture this energy, and we come into these, what we call more completion steps, final steps towards the light of the full moon. The full moon is a time of abundance and harvest, and really feeling the yes energy coming. So the waxing gibbous is going to invite you to really look at, okay, are you aligned with your vision? Are you aligned with what you've been planting into the field of possibility for your life? And have you been taking those steps? Because this is a time to really amp it up and feel those final steps, at least for this cycle, that you can, in truth, not with any stress around it or urgency, rather with clarity and mindfulness, you can create from this energy, create very positively and powerfully from this energy. So I will share a little bit more about the waxing gibbous. And there's a lovely article that I found about the waxing gibbous. This is about when we want to make changes in our lives. Change doesn't have to be hard. Change can come with ease and flow when we're in alignment and really conscious of how we are the change agents with our thought, word, and action. So this gibbous moon gives us instruction for our lives. It tells us not to resist the diligent work of change, to trust in its energies, and before this transition into the full moon, really applying ourselves to those steps that will change our lives for the better. Be more mindful in what you're doing. Pay extra attention. Really tune into what worked for you in the last cycle and what's not working, so you can track patterns in your life. Seeing this phase as a time to really bring things towards fruition at the full moon, those last steps again, just like the waxing crescent was the first steps, these are the last steps. So this is the time where we look to really refine and cultivate the energy that we have to offer others, offer the world, offer in our visions. And so go a little deeper in your practices, go a little deeper in offering your work to others. And this is a time that you should have more energy. The full moon is a time of more abundant energy that's coming. Yes. So I'm going to invite that we all stay muted so we don't have much interruption. Dia Teresa is asking, where does the word gibbous come from? That's a great question that I don't know. And if anyone does, you can pop it in the chat. That's really interesting. So let's dive a little deeper into the connection between this face of the goddess and this phase of the moon. Why does the magical muse come on the waxing gibbous? And I'm going to show you a little bit more about her frequency. So the magical muse is a frequency that's ruled by the spirit of air. Here's this kind of like air sprite, the winged ones. You can see if I move out of the way, the butterflies and birds, dragonflies. The archetype of the muse is ruled by the element of air, and air fans the flames of our intent, and it's what brings us inspiration and joy. The muse's phrase is, I play, I inspire. So I brought a little something to play with. Tea time, magical tea time for us in our inner muses. The muse is inviting us into more levity. Have a sip of levity, a little more spontaneity. You might want a couple sips of that. And what about recognizing and presencing more beauty in our worlds? So what kind of tea is required for you? Really feel into if you could bring more of these magical qualities of the muse that are pointing to lightness of being, inspiration, play, joy. The muse is saying play is not a frivolity. Here's another beautiful image, this bird creature, this frequency. Play is not a frivolity. Play actually activates the parts of our brain responsible for learning, creativity, problem solving. Did you know, and I'm pretty sure we can fact check this, I heard that NASA did a research on creative genius. And what they discovered was so controversial that the research papers were suppressed. Because what they discovered is that we are inherently creative geniuses as children. That up until schooling, up until 5 years old, the levels of creativity and play are at this flowing, abundant level of creative genius. And then we're meant to sit in little lines and boxes and pay attention only to the arithmetic and the spelling. And it's kind of snuffed out of most people. But it is our true nature. Creativity, play, problem solving. And I often wonder if we were tuned in to each child's innate genius and nurtured that, what a different world we would have, what a different system we would create. Here's this image of this metamorphosis, this butterfly spreading its wings, and the earth like at a higher octave of joy and play. The goddess most associated with this archetype is Saraswati. She's one of my faves. She is known to ride a swan and have a peacock friend and play this beautiful veena, this instrument. Saraswati is the goddess that rules over music, mathematics, and wisdom. There are also 9 Greco-Roman goddesses, daughters of Apollo, that are the muse goddesses that are ruling over all the creative arts. Everything from dance to theater to poetry to song, music, even astrology, which back in Greece, I guess, was an art. So we have this beauty of the muse inviting us into more creativity in our lives. And I have some questions for you. I'd love to feel from your heart as you tune into her frequency with me, beloveds, where you can bring more of this energy back into your life. So specifically, I have a little list of questions for you. And just feeling back when you were young, do you remember when you were a child and you knew what you were here for? You knew what you loved. You knew what your passionate proclivities were. And I remember being maybe 6 and standing on my bed. I shared a room with my little sister who was probably almost 3, and she was sitting on the floor, and I was dancing on my bed and singing on my bed, and I was making up a song about love, and she was my audience, and it was just the most joyful, natural thing to do. And I remember I'd probably heard that song, "Stop in the name of love," but then I made up all the other words, and she would clap, and I was like, that was what I was meant to do. Later, I found out some fascinating information in human design about how I'm actually here to help us stop in the name of love, like stop the madness, stop the separation and insanity of not living in our hearts, basically. So we knew as little children, we already knew. So I would like to ask you, and remember that whatever you share is not only a beautiful offering from your heart to the people here, for the people that will receive the replay, what really inspired you as a child? What were you sure when you were a child was yours to offer, your magic? And you can feel into what still inspires you, what causes you to feel inspired. It may be the beauty of nature. It may be beautiful, unique objects that work because of their precision engineering. Like, what inspires you? I have a friend here who is inspired in positive storytelling that will bring peace and connection. And I know that you have something that really inspires you. So feel what you could share in the chat if you scroll down. And so Jody says that I wanted to be a country music singer when you were a child. So witnessing that, and I would invite you, beloved, where you can still bring that into your life, even if it's not your main profession. Where can you sing to open your heart? Just like when a sick man went to a shaman and said, "I don't know what's wrong with me," the shaman asked, "When did you stop singing? When did you stop dancing? When did you stop presencing beauty?" Bring that soulful voice out for your own aliveness and radiance. I see you nodding your head. Yes, blessed be. Dia's enjoying the images. And Pat says to be in nature inspires her. Beautiful. Shallow dance, nature, laughter, music. Denise, nature and animals. So as you're presencing what brings you inspiration, watch how what brings you inspiration is going to bring you into presence, and open your heart and raise your frequency. And when your heart is open and you're moving in a way that you're very present, you are actually healing your body. You are a blessing to those you're around. You are in flow. Some like to call it like in the vortex or the holy Tao. These are the things calling you back, your inspiration. That's the medicine. Anyone else wish to share what brings you inspiration? You can just pop that in the chat. And then I'd like to take us another step deeper. Amber says laughter, bringing laughter to others. I wanted to be a comedian when I was 5. I can imagine, Amber, that you are a natural comedian, that you see the humor and the levity, and those who are close to you probably benefit from that energy. Randy, tangential altruism. I'm always like, wow, what does it mean, tangential? I know altruism is such a high frequency, and that generosity of spirit, the giving, where there's no giver or receiver in the offering from our hearts. There's only abundance. Alice says, I was into wonder about being alive and believed there was a higher power. I asked a lot of adults about it and they were surprised. How many of us remembered when we were children that magic was real, that we were connected to source, that everything was connected, that there was sparkles and beauty in the smallest wonders, in a drop of dew on a flower, and we could dive into it and see the rainbows. And it's very real when you get present. How much beauty, how much wonder. And the adults are often so busy just keeping it together that they would not drop in and listen. I remember when I was working, when my daughter was really small, a babysitter brought Thai food and gave her some noodles and asked her if she'd ever had Thai food before. And at this time, my 4-year-old daughter said, "Not in this life, but in a past life, I was a spiritual heart in Thailand, and mommy was there too." And the babysitter wrote it down, told me, and I'm like, well, she remembers. She's tuned into something beyond what we might know with our scientific methods or be able to prove. Jody says, I've written a few songs for a few artists and come from a very, very musical family. You bring me inspiration. Thank you, sweetheart. Yes. And I'd love to hear your songs. If you want to send me an email with your songs, that would be fun. Fun to hear. So you're reminding me to share that I've also written quite a few songs, and you can find them on SoundCloud under Amadora. And on my website, there's a link to media that has some music I've written for other artists as well. And it's fun to share our music. It's such a big part of our heart. Alice says, unity with spirit. Yes. Mary, magical colors. I'm a painter. So beautiful to witness all of this creativity. Joyce, music, especially improvisational jazz of a highly intuitive nature. Oh, wow. That's beyond what I can imagine. When I play my flute, I just play improv nature. Like, I don't know how to play jazz, but jazz is so beautiful. Dia says, I'm 77, a pilot, and feel and know I have yet expressions of music, education, and flying to share. Beautiful. Yes to that. Yes. Jean, yes, there's magic all around us. Angels. So sweet, everyone. Thank you for these shares. It raises my spirit. I feel blessed by this community and what we are creating together. So one more question. Just in this one is for you to contemplate. And this one is, it's really about how do you limit your own creativity and spontaneity? And sometimes we're asked, like, what's the dragon at the gateway of your creativity? And that might be the shoulds or the to-do lists, or it could be the perfectionism or the never good enough dragon voice. And bless the dragons. I don't want to vilify all dragons. It's just an expression. They say dragons are dimensional gate guardians that might open up worlds of deeper wonder and magic for us if we can step through the initiation of not believing those voices, those critical voices. So and if you choose to share, it could be medicine for others to know they're not alone. What is limiting your spontaneity and creativity? Really feel the truth of that. Because if you do name that in this powerful container, we can really hold each one of us in the transmutation, the alchemical transmutation of that no longer serves. So Alice says, needing to be seen or loved and the fear of being rejected. So what I'm going to do, I don't have my bell today. I'm just going to hold that we are sending love to that little one, the wounded child part, because inside each of us, there's a magical divine child. That's where we remembered our creative genius and our joy factor. And then there's also this scared little one that was conditioned to study harder and be quiet and don't be ridiculous. And that one, we're inviting that wounded child back into unconditional love, so that if that part grabs the wheel of the bus, so to speak, you can feel, this is not my deepest innocent heart's desire. My deeper divine child innocence is saying, breathe through this fear of being rejected, breathe through this need to be seen, and trust trust my enoughness. So holding the transmutation and the alchemy of this, as we all share this, we share these parts that want so much to be seen, to be loved. And in this safe and sacred space, we are inviting this higher octave of knowing we are absolutely love itself, absolutely enough, divine, whole, and innocent. Blessed be. Yes. And so many are sharing. Yeah. And Randy says, sometimes I turn on the light and it attracts bugs. And I would say, as we turn on the light, and even if bugs are buzzing in our field, to just bless them, to bless all the little pretender voices and dissonant frequencies and thought forms and other people's projections and whatever comes in, to raise our frequency to the point of ultimate compassion, love. And it's said that the higher your frequency, the more causal you are, the more at cause to either affect the others or to let them just spin out of our field. Shallow self-doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs block my spontaneity and inspiration. So shallow, just holding that little one again, as we spoke to, when you feel that contraction, really we have a choice. Are we contracting in fear or expanding and moving with that love for self and life and other? That's the question right there. That's the initiation. And it's always that moment where we actually notice the reaction or the contraction that is the most powerful moment for a pattern interrupter. Right there, when we notice, I'm triggered, I'm scared, that is when, if we bring awareness, or we call it the witness, turns on, we can really change our lives. So holding that in transmutation for the one. Blessed be for all of us. Dawn says, I think for me, the things that hold back my creativity are generally things like financial constraints, pressures to survive in today's capitalist society, also an element of fear and anxiety. I want to thank you for naming that. We are so conditioned to get with the program in survival mode that a lot of times our tails are tucked, our heads are forward into the future, and we're not living heart first. We're not living in that relaxed, responsive way where we can be creative and even make more abundance flow in our lives. So how do we reorient how we approach life from that joyful, innocent, heart forward stance, even if the world is trying to tell us, nose to the grindstone, be careful, all those tail tucked, head forward, contracted, be a good, soldier on. It's up to us to completely flip it into this other approach to creativity, creating flow, creating abundance, heart first. So holding for the one, the transmutation of that pattern in consciousness of not enoughness, of urgency and not enough time, not enough money. I can feel my nervous system go, thank you. Just breathing deeper. Inspiration. Deep breath with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would like to offer a fun mudra and mantra from this archetype. So connecting with our hearts, putting our hands of light right in front of our hearts. For those of you who have been on these calls, we might have done this before when we pulled a card for this archetype. This is the mudra and mantra that is going to raise our frequency with our divine child innocence. Here, here, now, now, all things are possible. 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 I'm just feeling that energy, lifting the spirit, shaking it up. The fairy wings, the butterfly wings, the hummingbird wings. more lightness of being. Yes, Tia Therese, yes. What you're describing is divine order. We can grow ourselves as that divine love, expressing our light. Yes. Holding you in your grief, Denise, as we are letting go, losing our loved ones. A friend said to me, why do we say I lost my mom or my aunt? And in a way, it's a huge loss. They're not necessarily lost, but we are releasing that physical relationship. And there's such an immense amount of trust required that they are with us in spirit, and that they're absolutely in communion with source at this moment on their journey. And I know for those of us who are still here feeling the absence, that it's challenging to keep our hearts in joy, challenging to keep ourselves in that high frequency. And grief is an important part of love, that recognition of how deep you loved and the allowing yourself to feel deeply. That's precious. So holding you in that. All right. We are going to save a little bit of time now for a couple oracle card readings. So feel, if you have yet to receive, if you have yet to receive a card, if you would like one today, and remember, now this is the important part. If you are resonating, you can raise your hand like Pat has. I see you, Pat, and I think you're going to be first. Remember, if you are resonating with another being's reading, that's medicine for you. And that this is collective work. When we work with archetypes, these are bigger patterns in consciousness, larger patterns in consciousness that are not just like very specific, mundane personality guidance. This is deep, energetic guidance that could be for you too, even if you didn't get it specifically read for you. Feel if this is medicine for you. Okay, Pat, we're going to bring you on. Let's see if we can, let's see how to do that. I have to remove my pin. Yay!
Okay.
Hi, good to see you.
So nice to be with you. Thank you.
Yeah, so good to see you. So, my dear, you remember my alchemical cards, and the way we do it is as I slowly go across, you just say when or now, and just feel.
Now.
Beautiful. So, do you recognize the frequency of this card and that sacred geometry? This is a powerful sacred geometry that we talked about a little bit in another call. This card is connected again to the goddess of compassion. And the Shri...
My whole body's vibrating, yes.
The Shri Yantra is such an ancient symbol. This symbol represents the communion of the above and the below, bringing spirit to form, seeding your visions through this way that we bring that light into matter. We bring things into being when we are balanced in this divine feminine and divine masculine balance. And it's the structure card, because it's asking you to really recognize what is serving you, what no longer serves you, so you can create new and sound structures for your life and bring into being that which is really resonating. So yeah, feel if that's pinging something in your awareness.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and the goddess of compassion is always asking you to bring compassion first to the self.
Yes, that's what I'm getting to, compassion.
Beautiful, love.
Thank
Blessed
you so
be.
much.
You're
Much love
so
to you.
welcome. Much
Namaste.
love. Namaste. All right. The goddess of compassion has been showing up a lot for us in these readings. Very needed in our lives and in the world right now. So if you can't figure out how to raise your hand, then you can just tell me. Okay, Dia said you got a reading 2 weeks ago. So let's see who else is here that has yet to receive a reading and would really like one. I see Shalu raised her hand. Okay, Shalu, are you able to unmute yourself? I know you're not on the video right now, but you can still speak.
Yes, Eden. Thank
What?
you.
Yes, wonderful, love. So let's spread out the cards, and I'm going to do where you tell me when you're ready.
Now.
Oh boy. Shalu, you had a very powerful card. Look at this card. Clarify. This is the tool, the sacred tool of the sword. And where we're in this very light, kind of spontaneous frequency where the sacred tool is the wand. I got my magic wand today. This is taking it to the next level. This is the tool that's reminding us that the letters of sword and words are the same. You just move the S from one side to the other. That your words can liberate, clarify, and challenge illusions when they're conscious, when they're coming from love. True love tells the truth all the way, all the time. When our words are not so conscious, that sword can maim or injure. So I'd like to invite you to really reflect on where you can speak up in truth, in love in your life to clarify with certain relationships, with certain beings. This is a very powerful card to receive. And if you're resonating with this, I invite you to really feel that inner sword of alignment in your own being as well. Where are we kind of telling the truth part ways or half ways, or withholding truth and torquing our inner channel of alignment? When we have that sword really clear and straight, clarifying our energy, we can change and take actions like on this gibbous moon to really change our lives very quickly. So Shalu, really take this into consideration. For those listening, if this is resonating for you, take this in as medicine too.
Thank you, Eden. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, I'll do one more card, and then Joyce says, I'd like a reading but can't turn on the camera. Joyce, I'd be happy to give you a reading if you can turn on your microphone. And then,
Yes. Yeah.
wonderful. And then
Thank you.
Andrea, I see your hand, and I would love to offer you any guidance or mentoring or anything in this call. So let's save time for that. But for right now, Joyce, tuning into the cards. And here we go. We're
Okay.
going to come across.
There.
This one.
Yes.
Oh boy. Another powerful card. This one is the Crystal Skull card. This is from the archetype known as a creator, destroyer, preserver. She's popped out before. This is a very focused intention card. When you shine a light through a crystal skull, you can start a fire. And on this gibbous moon, where it's like, what are those final steps? What's the action that's needed in your life to really get things changing and moving? You're being invited to focus, to create, to really focus. And that could be like a meditation practice, that could be a journaling, that can be like taking a walk in nature and really asking for the guidance you need to receive that clarity and focus on what needs to be created. In the Creator, Destroyer, Preserver, we're also going to ask you what needs to be set aflame, not as a catalytic fire of creation, but as a enough of this, that pattern no longer serves. Let's burn it to the ground. Let's like compost that one and make space. So in your focus, you have power. You can focus on that which needs to be destroyed first to make room for that which is really needing to be created to change your life for the best, to open things up for you. So I would say meditation, and especially getting clear when you're meditating by visualizing from your own third eye what you would like to see happening, almost like a practice of opening and awakening the visionary channel for you. Focus.
That is very clear, and it is really right on. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
It's exactly what I need.
Amazing. So glad, love. And Andrea, so glad you're here.
Hi.
Hey, are you on the camera? Yes.
So grateful. Yeah, can you see me? Sorry, I had to pick up one of my children. So grateful for all of your offerings, and this Thursday hour has been just wonderful. So I appreciate that. But both of those cards really resonated for me. So that's
So
that was
maybe
cool.
do you feel like there's another card for you, or do you want to take us a little deeper with how we can just support you in your life right now?
Oh no, I think it's both of those, the centering, the devotion, the journaling, the meditation, the opening, the feminine, all of it just, I've seen when I move to the other side, the more masculine, which I know I am part as well. For me, it comes out as a much more sort of aggressive, controlling part.
Right.
So it was just, both of those cards are a beautiful reminder of staying centered in that knowing that if I do need to be in the masculine, that it doesn't have to be so controlling.
Tight. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Tight.
what
The
sort of
grip.
came to me. Yes.
There's a bit of a delay, but I'm gonna pull one more card for you. All right, love. So you tell me.
Now.
Oh, I'm so glad. This is the archetype we're in. This is that divine child innocence, spontaneity, the lightness of being, very, very feminine qualities for you. The butterfly.
Beautiful. In yoga today, I had that. Instead of my arms on my side, I had this down near my belly button, and so I had that same image. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. You've inspired me to share one more mudra mantra too. So this is wonderful. We're going to complete this fun and wonderful time together with another muse mantra and mudra inspired by Andrea. So taking our hands of light, the downward triangle, bringing it to our bellies, and then bringing it up to our third eye and down to the heart, and feeling the wings on the back of the heart. And the lower belly, when you bring your hands down to the lower belly, we're going to bring in the mantra Sat, which is truth, Sat. And then when we come up to the third eye, Chit, consciousness, Ananda, bliss. So it's truth, Sat at the belly, consciousness, Chit, and then Ananda at the heart. Deep breath, back heart wings open. Sat, Chit, Sat Chitananda, Sat Chitananda. So much love to everyone. Thank you for being here. I would like to just invite you, if you've received a lot from these calls, if you're feeling the energy and you want me to keep going, just to drop something in the chat at the very end for me. We can share this with more people. You can let me know what you've enjoyed the most, and that's going to help me decide how to keep offering these Oracle office hours. Thank you for the love, Adora. So sweet. Yes, we all need compassion and empathy. And Zunera is inviting, if you have not already seen some of my offerings, there's a couple pages on my website. Zunera, can you also put the other page instead of, oh, I guess it's both of them. One of them is the courses. So the courses are for you 10% off if you're here, if you're part of my community. You only need to put the word Oracle in the checkout and you receive all of the self-study courses for yourself, or for a friend that you think would really love it. It's a great gift idea. And thank you all so much. Yes. And let me know what you enjoy. If you enjoy the Oracle reading, Joyce says, thank you very much for the Oracle reading. It was so accurate for me right now. Thank you, beloved, for sharing that. And what I'll do is I'll send a follow-up email with the link for the 10% off all my courses. And then I wanted to share that for those of you who want to go deeper, there is an opportunity to work with me in the Mysterium next fall. And that is a deep dive into these beautiful archetypes. If you don't live locally, the Mysterium is a wonderful way to study with me. And if you live locally, we're going to also be starting our next in-person circle. I've decided the date, a magical date, 11/11 is the beginning. So just mark that if you're considering coming on that journey. Oh, Linen Leaf, thank you so much for your comment. That touches my heart. That's so beautiful. They say these center us for the week. Thank you for being here in beauty and peaceful presence, maximum grace. So much love back to you both. Thank you. It touches my heart. Yeah, so much love to everyone. Jody says, I love your teachings. Oh, thank you, Amber. Beautiful. And just remember these little magic muse tools for yourself to raise your frequency. You have the mudras and the mantras. You can review this reading. You can use these in your life. And there's been some pearls here for others that might really resonate for you if you go back. And locally is, Beatrice is asking, where is locally? Locally is in Northern California, Marin County, the San Francisco Bay Area. So that is where I'm located now. And if you are called for the online Mysterium, there's an opportunity to come for retreat. Come to me for retreat. And there's some wonderful things on my YouTube channel to find out more about that. You can see the beauty of those retreats. All right, everyone. I wish you so much love and such a beautiful rest of your day. And that's all for now. Only love. Bye, everybody. Bye.